Hi, this is Stephen Birch with Trilogy Visual Media, and today we're going to talk about the Tenba 32L Shootout. Now, this is the older version, and I bought this one because it was $100 cheaper and I wanted to check it out. So we'll talk about this for a little bit. This is the newer version. The difference is 632-432, 632-431. So when you're ordering it, if you are going to order it, just know the difference. One of the things that I liked about the original one is it has this cool little top pocket for glasses, apparently. I don't use it for glasses, but I did use it a lot to put my earbuds in and to do, just to put random stuff in there, gum or whatever when I was traveling. So I kind of like that that was there. For some reason, they didn't include it with the latest version. But the deal breaker for this guy for me was how far it went back. Now, we took this on a trip to Vegas, to NAB actually, to check it out. And we brought both the bags full. And this guy pretty much within, I'd say the first hour was deemed going back. Just because how far it goes back. And that's probably why they came out with the 2, which is a lot skinnier and a lot taller. So we don't need to talk about this guy too much more. Now, this guy, super cool, super tough. There's a lot of outside pockets. You have room to put your passport, wallet, everything into, when you're going through the airport line. So I really like that. I love that I could put a standard tripod or a standard photography tripod here on the outside instead of on the middle. They do have a tripod holder, but like any other backpack that does that where it hangs below, I pretty much opt out of using that because every time you put it down, you get the tripod in the face. Or it's hard to move, or it's hard to open and use the backpack. So I was able to put this guy on the side. I really like that. Now, I am using the mesh pocket to do that, so I don't know how long this would last, but I do also like having a mesh pocket on either side so you can put your water bottles and stuff in there. And we did stuff some water bottles in there and they held out. This is also a very deep pocket on this side, also made for smaller tripods, I guess. It was nice to have it, but if you do strap something on the side, it's pretty much a useless pocket because you have to reach all the way down here, and if you have something strapped to the side, you can't fit your arm in there, etc. But if you're not gonna strap anything on the side, it's great. Zippers are great. Construction of this bag, super tough. It does have a water-resistant nylon, which I like. It comes with a little bag kind of cover that if it is pouring rain, I'm sure the zippers will leak or something, but for the most part, it's water-resistant. And I like having that option so I don't feel instantly threatened, if I'm walking through a little drizzle, etc. It stands up. Okay, major requirement for a bag. If you are a traveling videographer, photographer, you need to be able to put your stuff down, whether it's at the airport, out in the desert, wherever you are, and not have it falling all over the place. So I love that feature. It's got a nice, tough bottom to it. So here's the little water snow cover that I was talking about earlier. I'll get this out just so you can see it. For those of you that like to use the tripod thing, it doesn't hang that low, which is nice, and it can strap back here. Even though this is the skinnier bag, it does sit out pretty far. So the idea of strapping something even further out on this guy, not so cool, but I love that I can put the tripod on either side. All right, I didn't mention the 2 front pockets. I like these. I'm able to get, my charging stuff, my whatever, my lens cleaner in there. This front pocket is pretty nice as well. It's really deep. You got some shorter pockets here. Pin stayed where I put it. That's always nice. And one more thing to mention, the laptop. I really like that this has got a nice big laptop, able to fit a 17-inch MacBook Pro in there. Okay, now we're going inside. Inside the bag, I love this big compartment. Holds a ton of batteries. I don't know, I have probably 20 Sony batteries in there. Got my bathroom kit in here. Pretty much have room to fit 2 rigs plus some clothes. So the last couple trips I took, they were literally overnights, one to Boston and one to Vegas. And I was able to stuff some socks in, some other garments in there, and still take all my gear, put everything on my back, and go onto the plane, which I really, really like for quick jobs. Love how deep these pockets are. I mean, these things are deep. This is a 50mm lens. You can almost put two on top of each other. Here's another good example. This is an H6, fits all the way in there. Other bags that I've had, it's kind of sticking out a little bit. And you know, as you close or if you lay something on top, it's gonna be pretty much rubbing against it. But this guy was, you know, basically packed everything I needed, and I was still able to put a couple shirts on top and close it without any problem. So those are all the pros. Big, hefty, put enough gear in there to get what you need done. Here comes the cons. It's heavy. By itself, it's with nothing in it, it's 6 pounds. Now, that's okay. I knew that going in. I need a big bag. I'd love to stuff a lot of gear in there. And I need a lot of options for shoulders because I'm standing in lines, I'm at the airport, and it's sitting on my shoulders a lot, or we're out shooting, I got it on my back, we're wrestling around with tripods. I need the back support, and that's another thing that it doesn't really come with. It says it does. It's got all this fancy airflow stuff going on here, and when you first put it on, it is rather comfortable on the shoulders. There's a lot of thick padding here, but as far as being able to strap this on, so like any backpack, you want to first get it on your hips and get your hips to really support the main part of the bag, which is great. We're at a good start. These are nice and comfortable, but then you really don't want this kind of moving around, and you don't want a lot of free area. See the gap between my back and the bag? No problem. Usually what you can do is tighten these a little bit, right? You still don't want any pressure pushing down on your shoulders as of yet, and I'm doing okay, but look how far the bag goes back, right? So if I grab these two straps here, pull it forward as far as I can, right? Now I'm starting to get a little bit better, but if I put the chest strap on too, so you get the full thing here, it's really, really tight, right? So I can let the chest strap go a little bit, and for a while, this is comfortable, but it's really starting to push down on my shoulders right here. I have to loosen it to allow it to fully sit on my hips. This is riding on the top of my hip. It's not like fully in, or my hips aren't in the middle. This is pretty much at the top. So my first impression would be that this is for a very short person. I'm 5'10" and a half on a good day, standing on my toes, and this is not acceptable if you're walking around, because it's gonna be super loose, and it's also gonna keep pulling you back. So you're gonna naturally pull this tighter. Now all the weight's on your shoulders. And like I said, after about an hour of walking around NAB, it felt like I had my old low pro bag with no waist support at all, just kind of pushing down on my shoulders. I started getting like the cramps, falling asleep. I would loosen it up to let it sit on my hips, and then I'm like wobbling all over the place. Unfortunately for me, this isn't the bag for me. It's not for my body type. All right, quick recap on the pros and cons. Pros, we got a really deep backpack, which allows you to stack gear, kind of like that. Lots of pocket options. The mesh pockets on either side. Love, love, love that. The cons are that it's heavy, and I know it was a little exaggerated, but it really is kind of heavy, and there's nothing in there. And that the shoulder straps still need some work. They're doing an okay job up top, but without this being adjustable, it really can't sit on anybody that's less than 4'5" or 4'10" for longer than an hour or so when really fully loaded up. I'm Stephen Birch, Trilogy Visual Media, still on the hunt for that perfect hybrid backpack that allows me to travel and get lost in the mountains and be comfortable with my gear. Please hit subscribe, the like button, leave any questions or comments below, and see you next video.